morning, dear hearts. We are on lesson 325, but I'm going to start with what is creation and then segue into today's lesson. What is creation? Just going to read from the first paragraph. Creation is the sum of all God's thoughts in number infinite and everywhere without all limit. Only love creates, and like itself. Even for God, the thought came first. The thought comes first. Today's lesson is all things I think I see reflect ideas. And there are so many lessons from part 1 of the workbook, our first 50 lessons, that we can fold into today's lesson without any stretch of the imagination at all. I do not understand anything I see. I've given everything all the meaning it has for me. My thoughts are images that I have made. God is the mind with which I think. I have no neutral thoughts, and that's just a few of them, truthfully. But what's important in I have no neutral thoughts, lesson 16, that everything you see is the result of your thoughts. We are the result of God's thoughts. That's what we are. We are creation, but creation came from the mind of God, and we are a result of the thought that came from the mind of God. Today's lesson, all things I think I see, reflect ideas. And the lesson begins with the more text portion saying, this is salvation's keynote. What's a keynote? What's a henway? What's a keynote? It is the basic fact. It is the basic fact that holds up all the other facts, just as a keystone in architecture is the stone at the top of an arch that basically holds together the whole arch. The keystone holds together the arch. The keynote holds together the ideas. In this case, the idea of salvation. What I see reflects a process in my mind which starts with my idea of what I want. That's the beginning, the idea of what I want. From there, the mind makes up an image of the thing that the mind desires and judges it valuable and therefore seeks to find. My thoughts are images that I have made. I had that thought. I decided it was something that I want. I have decided it's something that I want because I've decided that it has some worth to it. And now I will seek to find it. These images are then projected outward. So this is how we know it's coming from the ego mind and not from the mind of God. Because the thoughts from the mind of God are merely extended. We are merely extended from the mind of God, we being creation. So these images are then projected outward, looked upon, esteemed as real, and guarded as one's own. They've been given worth. They've been given value, and now they must be protected. And from insane wishes comes an insane world. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. And from judgment comes a world condemned. I have judged this world with my thoughts. I've given it a value or a very insignificant value. So it's either very high or very low. And now I have condemned this world with my thoughts and what I think I have placed on it. The meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world, a world that has no value. And from forgiving thoughts, a gentle world comes forth with mercy for the Holy Son of God, to offer him a kindly home where he can rest a while before he journeys on and help his brothers walk ahead with him and find the way to heaven and to God. So my thoughts, all these things I think I see, have reflected images from within my mind Those ideas within my mind projected outward. I've thought it, and now I see it. So in this world, as it is, and with God, the thought comes first. Always, everything has started with a thought. Is it a good thought or a bad thought? I've done that before. It doesn't matter whether I say it's good or bad. It only matters whether it's true or false, because that is the whole criteria for this world. Is it true or is it false? Well, if it's true, then I know it has come from my Father. If it is false, then I know it has come from the ego, because God creates only like himself, and what God creates is true. In this world, it is, said it before, I'll say it again, it's make-believe. I've made it up, and now I believe it. Now I have to overcome it. Now I have to see that it is not real. I've thought it was. I've given it life, but it is not real. So all things I think I see reflect ideas, and whether those ideas are coming from my ego mind or my holy mind, but they are coming from what I think is my mind. The second part of the lesson is prayer. Our Father, your ideas reflect the truth, and mine apart from you. Yours but make up dreams. My ideas, I didn't read that right. And mine apart from yours, my ideas, my thoughts apart from you, but make up dreams. Every thought I have that is not part of the mind of God. God is the mind with which I think. If I'm not thinking with God, I'm not really thinking. I'm making things up. And if everything I'm making up and thinking without the glory, the advent, the support of my Father's mind, none of it is real. Let me behold what only yours reflects, what only your mind reflects. For yours and yours alone establish truth. If it's not from God's mind, it is not real. If it is not from God's mind, I don't want to be part of it. I don't need any more illusions. I don't need any more deceptions. I only want to know creation, and I only want to know my part in creation. So when I make a judgment from an experience, let me reflect on it and decide which part of my mind is this coming from, and is this something I want to keep? If it is coming from my ego, the answer is I do not. Now I just want to point out, because I didn't, that this first paragraph is a beautiful tutorial in how to look at thoughts and to judge them, see them truly as for what they are and where they came from. So I will be able to decide whether or not to keep them, whether or not to support them, whether or not to embrace them. So this is a beautiful, practical lesson that we have today. All things I think I see reflect ideas, as everything does. That's it for today. I hope it helped. Hope it made sense. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please comment. Please smile. Please take in a deep breath. And please be here tomorrow. Namaste.